Welcome back to Creative Speak with Jesse Norris. I'm your host, and today I've got the guest Rain Swann.
Yeah, what up?
How's it going?
It's all right. I'm pretty sleepy. I'm not doing shit.
I know I forced you to come over and get your podcast episode done today.
Middle of the night.
Yeah, this is 9 o'clock,
It's
bro.
9 p.m.
I got a couple questions for you listed. The first one is, how did you get started making music?
Well, like my dad made music. He played drums, did saxophone, vocals, guitar, bass, like fucking anything you can think of.
So that's kind of what made you want to start doing it?
Well, kind of. Like my grandfather's really into music. He listened to music. My mom's really into music. She was making me listen to like Korn and Alice in Chains and System of a Down. I remember she'd tell me when I was younger, she's like, you got to learn how to play drums like your dad. Even though she didn't really like know my dad like that, but she's like, or at least she wasn't with him, at the time and shit. But she's like, you got to learn how to play drums so that you can play this song. And it was like Toxicity or something. And she did shit like that all the time. She'd pull something random up of some like little Asian kid that is probably still 10 times better than me at that age, better than I am right now, showing me a video of them playing like Slipknot songs and being like, you got to do this. And then in 6th grade, like public school, they give you like the option to pick an elective or whatever.
Yeah.
At the, like whatever the fuck it is. Choir, band, or if you do sports.
You chose band.
And I chose band. And then I tried out, they test you for every instrument. I did trumpet, and that was like, I made an 8 on trumpet, but I did like a 2 on drums. I had like, apparently I had no rhythm, but my mom came in there and was like, hey, listen, he really wants to play drums. Really, my mom wanted me to play drums because I was cool with playing trumpet. But then he was like, well, really the only reason I rate kids so low on the drums is because everybody wants to play drums.
Yeah.
And so my mom just talked him into letting me do drums.
You got to do drums?
And then by like the second year, I was already doing marching band. I was section leader by my 3rd year in band.
Nice. Yeah, I kind of got started doing music for similar reasons. My family didn't like try to make me do it, or they really didn't push me to do it at all. But I wanted to ever since I was a kid because my dad sang in a band. He did vocals in a band that toured around. I got to go with him a little when I was a kid. And then my grandpa played drums the whole time, and I lived with them a lot when I was a kid. Spent a lot of time with them. So I wanted to do it for the same reason. So I get the family thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My grandfather's always like harking me about trying to start a band with him. And shit
How
like
old
that.
is he?
My grandfather, he's like in his 60s.
What does he play?
He doesn't do anything. Well, no, actually, that's a lie. He's boss as fuck at a harmonica. I saw him one time.
Dude, you got to get him a mating call.
Well, he was driving. That'd be crazy. He was driving down the road one time, and Piano Man came on.
Yeah.
And he, the harmonica solo in that or whatever.
Did he pull it out and then
He pulled out the harmonica out of the console in his car and started driving with his
started ripping
knees.
it?
It started ripping it. Ripped the whole thing. He was putting like crazy, like his own shit inside of it and all that. Dude, it kind of blew my mind. But, no, my mom bought me a drum set when I was in like 6th grade.
Oh, nice.
And then it was an electric drum kit. And then
Is that still the one that you had a couple of years ago?
it's the one we tried to use in Drama Meet.
Oh.
Yeah. And then, I don't know, a bunch of my friends in band, we always talked about making music. Mm. And then eventually, at some point, I kind of just got behind a DAW and started making stuff. And then word got around at school that I was making music. And my band director, he's kind of like a dad to me for a while.
Yeah.
He brought this guy from Auburn, their music teacher or something. He's like a production professor over there. And he brought him to school, and he pulled out a laptop, and he put Logic in front of me, and he was like, make a beat. I ain't never touched Logic in my entire life. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
That was the first doll he tried to get you to do?
Yeah, he pulled up Logic right in front of me, and it was like primitive, like, obviously Logic had been out for a while, but like in comparison to what we have today, like, it was like primitive 2012 Logic.
Logic is a weird one because I don't, I make music and I do program drums and stuff, but it's not like the best. It's not like the best made for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Logic and GarageBand are for recording live instrumentation primarily. Yeah,
that's what people use it for, at least. Especially,
So when you get on FL Studios, 'cause that's what you use now, right?
I got on FL Studio. Well, I use Ableton too, but primarily FL Studio because it's just.
It's nice. It's easy.
It's what I've used the most.
It's easy and it's got a lot of options too.
True.
You can not know what you're doing to make something good, and you could also know what you're doing and utilize what they got.
And it's kind of like, weirdly enough, like FL Studio, which you would think would be like the iPhone of DAWs, is more like the Android, where Ableton is more like an iPhone. It's a little bit more like everything's kind of fed to you a little bit better in Ableton. You can tell
Yeah.
where everything is a little bit easier, but everything, to me at least, is way prettier in FL Studio.
Have you seen those? It's like a tweet or like a thing on Threads where it's like people are saying what city each doll represents.
No.
Yeah.
FL Studio's like got to be Baltimore or like Atlanta.
I always think like, to me, Logic, I would just be like, that's New York City.
I was about to say,
You know,
New York. That's exactly
like,
what I was thinking.
Maybe Ableton is like Atlanta or something. I don't know.
Ableton it could be Atlanta, but I'm thinking more like Midwestern, but like towards, I don't know, maybe like South Carolina. I don't know what it is about Ableton gives me those vibes.
You said Midwestern and then said South Carolina, which is right on the East Coast.
Yeah, but I'm thinking like, middle of the United States,
Yeah.
all the way to the east. But I got on FL Studio, God knows when, like 2000 and, I don't know, it was the first DAW I really picked up. I had LMMS, if anybody knows what that is. It's like a fucking free DAW that runs like shit.
Is it like Audacity, that kind of thing?
No, not really. It's a little bit better than that, but it's like...
I used Audacity as a kid.
I did too, but Audacity's just... Well, they're trying to turn it into a DAW now.
Audacity?
Yeah, they're making updates and they're keeping it 100% free. They're trying to put...
I might look into that because I liked using it when I was a kid.
It's not bad. The interface is good. They've started putting plug-in integration and stuff like that in there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It needs that.
No, he put Logic in front of me and he was like, make a beat. And I was like, okay. And I just kind of like programmed some drums. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Did you do it? Did it work?
Yeah, I made like some drums and like a little bass line. And he was like, I'll give you a scholarship. Come to Auburn for free. And I didn't go, but I walked away from that being like, okay, I need to do this.
Yeah.
And I really that's when I borrowed my buddy's FL Studio at somewhere around like 7th or 8th, 9th grade, something like that. And just started making bullshit. I used to record myself with like a ukulele. Trying to make, but it wasn't like corny. It was just like I was trying to make like I was writing like prog riffs on a ukulele.
I can't help it. Ukulele is just always corny.
It is like a little kid's instrument. It feels like backyard.
There's one band that I can think of that uses a ukulele like prominently.
21 Pilots. No.
That is like one band that I actually enjoy that does that. It's a band called Beirut.
Oh yeah,
know them? Yeah.
You can use it in some contexts that is really cool, especially in like acoustic context and stuff.
I think it works if the sound of your band is kind of like a big band sound, like like a traditional big band.
A bunch of horns and shit. Then you got a little bit of ukulele here and there.
Yeah. You've been a member of many bands in the last 7 years.
7-ish.
Yeah. First in like early 2020 during the pandemic, we asked you to drum for Dramamine, which was a band that Eli Amberson and I from Lighthouse and Tohu started when we thought that Tohu was breaking up because Nick, the drummer, was moving to New York. And eventually we got Kiki, that's also in Tohu and Lighthouse now. She was playing bass, but you were drumming in that. And then you joined Tohu doing extra percussion, second drummer. And then we did Supernaut, which is me, you, and Eli, with you on drums again. And now you're in Mating Call, where you drum, which is kind of like a Scrams emo band. And then also, in the midst of all that, you've been doing what you originally called Spook Show Rain, but now you just have titled it Rain Swann. It's your solo music, which I would describe as like hip hop rap, but there's definitely elements of other stuff. You've got that one song called Age of Innocence that is more pop oriented,
That's like ballady almost.
Yeah. So which of these projects has been the most fulfilling so far?
Shit, that's a hard one because I've done a lot. I've done a lot, as you just mentioned. But it's kind of funny. I was pre-Tohu. I came and practiced with y'all before Tohu, and then we did Dramamine years later.
Oh, yeah.
So,
me and you and Eli did jam a year or so before.
So even then, there's like 5 or 6 other bands I've been in and out of and
Yeah.
stuff. So most fulfilling is kind of a hard question because it's different because playing drums is one thing, and then working on my solo music is a whole nother thing.
Yeah, it's a different feel.
Now, like, in terms of moving forward, I definitely am going to start playing drums in my solo music. I already have. None of it's released, but on the album I'm working on now, it's like, I've kind of put the two things together.
Nice.
So ultimately, I would say my solo music
Yeah.
is probably the most fulfilling. But second to that, I loved Tohu because it wasn't like I was just doing extra percussion. I was a second drummer.
Oh, yeah.
It was two drummers.
Sometimes you stacked a beat on top of his, like a full beat.
A whole different beat on top of what he was playing. It was like it was like Truth by Kamasi Washington.
That's just a super unique situation that very few people find themselves in. Yeah. You know, you might not have an opportunity like that where you're playing with another drummer again.
Yeah. It's weird. It's very weird, but I have the experience of being in a marching band, so it wasn't that hard for me.
Yeah.
And like, shoot, dude. What am I trying to say? I'm forgetting my words here. Chewing them up. Towu was really fun. It started as extra percussion, obviously. Yeah. All I was doing was playing like a little rocket tom.
Yeah, and a
little suspended
tambourine.
Cymbal.
Yeah.
And then it moved to like I brought a snare in, and then I brought two more cymbals and other drums and all this other stuff. So I was playing this big rack set by the end of it.
And you were playing like at one point you had like the bells or when the song Broad, you were using a variety of like extra like world instruments,
claves, and everything else. But yeah, ultimately my solo music, just because I've finally come to a point where I'm not just sitting behind a pad
and
sitting behind.
It's also gonna, that's for most people, solo music is gonna be the most fulfilling because it's like all you. It's exactly your vision. Whereas in a band, even if a band is just three members, like me, you, and Eli and Supernaut. We still had to like share a vision.
Yeah, you kind of have to compromise, and you have to work with each other.
There's no compromise on your solo music, so
that's true, and it's always fun working with other people, though.
Oh, for sure.
Like I find Mating Call especially, it's also the most recent, but I find it to be super fulfilling because the writing process is so centered around one person at a time.
Yeah,
Kiki will write a riff, bring it to Denver. Denver will play their bass part. Eli will quietly write his guitar part and not even tell us, and it'll just pop up and appear at practice one day. And then they'll start showing it to me, and I kind of try to feel out and kind of like feed what they're doing and kind of ride behind, like in the back, just be the rhythm section. But eventually it always turns out that I end up getting a solo in a song or, everything else. So it ends up being a lot better. I do think it's worth mentioning, too, that the Spook Show Rain thing for me was kind of like a fluke. I was kind of being like, it's kind of like Eminem, Slim Shady in a way.
Yeah.
Not that I looked up to him all that much or anything like that. First album's gas, though.
That's what a lot of people say that don't love Eminem. They're like, that first album,
it's good. The first like three.
The first couple, they always say. Yeah.
But the Spook Show...
different. I would say it is different than the rest of his output. I don't really like any of it that much, but I could see why the first couple albums are more appealing.
That beat on Just Don't Give a Fuck is crazy.
Yeah.
The drums, all the samples, all the chops and everything, but...
I think I know that song. 1 second. It's called, what is it? What's it
Just
called?
Don't Give a Fuck.
Just don't. Let's see. Yeah. I know this one.
It's gas. But the Spook Show Rain thing, that was always my username.
But now it's Rain Swann.
Now it's just my name.
Which is a pretty cool name. I mean,
kind of a cool name.
It's your real name, but it's a cool title.
I think of that every time I put out a song or anything like that. I'm like, or not anytime I put out a song, but anytime somebody like says my name, I'm like, damn, it is a name and a persona at the same time.
Yeah, and I feel like it fits your music well, too.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of... I've always despised going by really weird, fake, goofy, spooky aliases, and Spook Show Rain was a weird, goofy alias. But I did it because I was scared that putting out music, people weren't going to like it. And so I thought if I did it under an alias, it put some cushion to it.
You could separate yourself.
Yeah, I could be like, oh yeah, it's... I was playing up. It was like a character.
Well, all that's gone now.
So, I took all that shit down because it was terrible.
No, it wasn't. But I was going to ask, what are your biggest influences for drumming, and then your influences for your solo music?
My influences from drumming is kind of like, that's kind of a hard question.
I'm sure it's all over the place because you like a lot of stuff. But.
Well, it's all over the place. It changes every year. What I'm listening to at the time will influence me a lot. I mean, even like Geese, even when they get annoying to me, and I love them a lot, but even when they get, like, the rest of the band gets annoying, the drummer every time knocks it out of the fucking park. So I've been really into him and his demeanor.
So that's kind of affected what you played Mating Call a little?
Oh, yeah.
Because I know when
weirdly enough, too, because it's like emo music. It's not what they're doing.
But, I mean, sometimes the drumming can carry over. But, I know, like, when we did Towu, you were like we were all really into Black MIDI at the time, and I know that kind of inspired what you might have added there. And I'll even say
that still bleeds.
When we did Supernaut, there was things that you played that are so. What's that guy's name? Morgan.
Morgan something.
Yeah, but I could see some similarities in what Morgan from Black Midi was playing and what you might play in a Supernaut song. But.
Yeah, especially Supernaut.
So
but I don't know, like from a young age though, Joey Jordison for sure.
Yeah,
I'm not big.
You've always said that one. Yeah,
I'm not big on the double pedal or anything like that, but just or like blast beats or none of that. But for like any of the music I've made, it just wouldn't serve it anyways.
Yeah.
But I also never even took the time to really learn a lot of that metal technique and stuff like that. But he, as a drummer alone, is amazing. And I know I made a joke about 21 Pilots earlier, but I'm not really into them as I was when I was like 14. And to me now they really only have like one good album. But Josh Dunn is a phenomenal drummer, and he was the first drummer that I really like besides Joey that I like really looked up to and was like wanted to see his growth as a drummer. And even as their music kind of progressively is getting worse and then kind of gets a little better and gets worse and worse and worse, he gets better and better and better he just keeps getting better. Great drummer. He knows how to serve the song.
Yeah.
Like perfectly. But
figure solo music or your inspirations.
I will say the guy from The Police too. I can't think of his name.
What's his name? Stuart Copeland?
Yeah. For my solo music, just in general.
Yeah.
Like production wise, 100% Kanye, always.
Yeah,
I mean, but that's like everybody. You can't ask a rapper for their influences without them saying Kanye most of the time.
Well, he's extremely, love or hate him now, which I totally understand when people don't like him now because I'm not fond of how he's been the last 8 or so years. But, I mean, he's so influential.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, dude, there's stuff on even the Vultures albums where I'm like, dude, how the fuck does he do this?
Oh, yeah. I
mean, and those albums are majority bad to me.
Yeah. I mean, even on like, I didn't like Donda 2 at all, but even on the first Donda, which I'm not a huge fan of, there's still some production choices there that I'm like, holy shit. Like, he still has it a little bit. I'm happy to see, he put out that, in the Wall Street Journal, he bought an ad and did a big apology and said that he's like going to get medicated again and that he was having a bad episode because of not being medicated for the last couple of years.
It was a long fucking episode.
Yeah, you can't really like forgive that stuff with that, but I understand how that could happen.
Yeah,
I mean, he shouldn't be absolved of any wrongdoing now, but it's nice to see that he's going to make that change in himself.
Yeah.
And he can eventually, hopefully his music gets better again too. But
well, I definitely don't want to do like a whole bit talking about Kanye, but like, somebody having an episode like that, especially like when you're having bipolar people in my life and stuff like that, when you are like when you were going through an episode and you were like going through the motions of self-sabotage and stuff like that, you resort in doing the worst possible thing that you can or the worst possible things that you can to help you reach your goal in whatever that goal may be. And his worst possible thing is a lot worse than any regular person's worst possible thing because of how famous he is, and how much of a calloused reputation he has, especially with his fan base. He could go and say some super crazy shit in comparison to like anybody else saying it would be fucking insane. But his fan base will forgive it because he's done worse already.
Yeah.
So the worst for him was to apparently become a Nazi, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But
which he's not. You can't say things like that, but I will say he's not a Nazi. His core beliefs are not that,
Yeah, I mean, definitely. He's definitely said some crazy anti-Semitic shit.
Well, he's his problem, and it's been his problem for forever. It just wasn't as evident how it would be a bad thing to begin with, that he's just wants to be controversial. He's contrarian.
Like, he thinks that like all publicity is good publicity kind of thing.
And in the beginning, his actual personal beliefs are how that was showing in his contrarianism. Like when he's talking about the Hurricane Katrina stuff, he felt that that the Bush administration didn't give a shit because it was primarily people of color that were affected. And he said something about it. And sure, he may have said it just to be a contrarian, but there was actually some truth in that, and it was like a thing that pointed out some problems. And I think over the years, he just kind of strayed further from who he was because of all the stuff that happened to him. Yeah. And then he's just being a contrarian just to be one and saying the most outlandish shit because he wasn't in the spotlight anymore, And
he knows it'll bring him back. He also knows that if his goal is self-sabotage, that's the only way he can do it at this point.
I'm not trying to excuse anything that he's done. No. I think it's awful. You shouldn't say that, especially when you have that kind of power and pull. You cannot make a mistake and say things like that.
What that does for entire fan, I mean, it's a terrible fact that a lot of musicians, especially when it comes to like who attends their live shows and stuff like that the majority of their audience it ends up, maybe not the majority, but a lot of their audience ends up being white kids.
Yeah,
and white kids, when it comes to, especially when they're young and super edgy.
They'll dick ride for an artist.
They're impressionable as fuck on somebody being violently crazy. Like
that. And you can't, when you have that influence like he had, you can't say things like that, even if you don't really mean them.
No, because for the rest of his life, he will have people follow him and be a fan of his music.
Yeah.
That will hold those core beliefs and will use his behavior as an excuse to justify their own actions. Like somebody being racist towards, or somebody being like, what is the word? Anti-Semitic or xenophobic in general.
They're going to cite
they're going to cite Kanye and then
to excuse it.
And it'll be like it'll be just like any other celebrity that's been through these motions. Yeah. It'll get brought up that he denounced that eventually. He became a better person from that, and they'll be like, oh, that's
he can't.
They'll find a way to excuse that too.
He can never escape that, but what he can do is apologize and move away from it and actually use his influence for good.
And it's going to be really hard for somebody like him. But as far as the rest of my influences go, there, it's just a big three, man. Yeah. Kanye, Kendrick, Cole, or Big Ten. Nas. Like, it's different when it comes to production and rapping. Yeah.
Any Jay-Z in there?
Oh yeah. But production wise, a lot of Jay-Z is Kanye.
Yeah.
So but Jay-Z, like 444 is one of my favorite albums
Me
ever.
Too.
And I know
I'm
I sound
so bummed that he's in those Epstein files. And especially the way he reacted to just shows he's he's not innocent,
No, absolutely not.
Because 444, that album, I listened to it a few years after it came out, and you actually opened my eyes to how good it was. And some of the things that he says lyrically on that are like so forward and open and like
kind of.
Yeah, and it's so relatable and it's so raw, and I love the raw emotion and him acknowledging his past mistakes and all of that. And for him to be involved in something so heinous, it like kind of discredits all of that for me.
Discredits that growth because a lot of that album is a response to Beyonce's response to him cheating on her.
Yeah,
and it was like Family Feud. That song is amazing, and that song like really, like I said, it cuts. It feels like you're there with him, experiencing and apologizing with him.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that song or another one, but there's one where he talks about if I was ever not a superhero in your eyes to his kids, like that would break me because of the mistakes I've made.
That might be the story of OJ.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I don't think it's the story of OJ, but it might be the one you said, honestly. But
Family Feud.
And I love the opening song about that he kind of refers to the Kanye stuff, like the controversy they had and the.
Is that Kill Jay-Z? Is that the first one? Yeah.
And he has a song where he talks about his mom coming out as gay.
Yeah.
And how he wishes that she would have been comfortable to do that earlier in his life, but that she didn't because she wanted to protect him. Like, it's such sweet family ideas in that album. And I hate that he's not innocent with this other stuff. It just makes me not want to hear it anymore.
Yeah, it makes you feel like it's far less sincere. Yeah. I have that same problem with Kanye. Like going back and listening to some of the most heartfelt songs, which actually, if you track it back pretty far, Kanye was being anti-Semitic in 2008.
That was just so.
But it wasn't as in your face, loud anti-Semitism. It was
people in that time weirdly
they got away with that.
Stuff. It's it's
and
not
like
okay.
Jews run Hollywood or Jews,
that was a thing.
Jews run the banks and stuff like that. Like people just talked about. People said that like it was normal.
Well, even if you think about around that time. The Harry Potter stuff, which J.K. Rowling is a piece of garbage, but but like even in her books, the bankers are like people with big noses and like they're like troll goblins and big noses,
like racist cartoonisms.
Yeah. But you've started a DIY label called Hold That Weight. Mm-hmm. What inspired you to start that, and what are your goals for that project?
So weirdly enough, me and you started Purple Scepter.
Yeah,
and then I moved. Years ago, and we put out probably like 7 people's music. Yeah,
it was Clark's Zenshi, Spook Show Rain stuff, my solo thing, which was Ice Pick at the time, Tobu, and Daniel 9.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think.
Buddy, I went to high school with.
There's one more. Well, we did Dubenka, Malik solo music. Yeah.
Well, So a couple years ago, like 2023 or 2022, I moved five hours south of here, and I didn't really hold a lot of the connections for a while when I lived down there. And so while I was down there, I decided to start. Plus, I was taking more control of my own personal image.
Yeah.
So at the time, I started my own DistroKid account and started putting out just my own music, and then a couple of my friends here and there. And it had a name. It was Hold That Weight and everything like that. But it wasn't really like a DIY label or anything.
But
like
now
that.
you've expanded and added.
Yeah.
a
So
bunch of bands.
when I moved back here, I started having a lot of people come to me, ask it. Like I mean, this happens all the time. I have a lot of people come to me and be like, how do I get my music out there?
Yeah.
And it got to a point where so many people were asking me that instead of like teaching them how to do it, I just told them, I'll just upgrade my DistroKid plan
and add you to the label,
and I'll just add you and
distribute their music.
I'll start an Instagram account. We'll treat it like a label, and then and I'll foot the bill for everything. I'm not going to ask anybody for money or anything like that. And then as time went on, I started like exploring other distribution options and stuff like that. So now I use a combination of DistroKid, a couple other services, and then like direct to. I do a lot of different types of distribution. I run a lot of accounts for a lot of people.
How many bands how many artists are on the label now?
Artists, it's over 15 right now.
So who do you got? Let's list them. So there's
Lord.
Rain Swann.
There's me. Yeah. There's you.
Yeah, it's Fan of Mine.
Yeah.
And does Lighthouse.
Yeah. Look, Fan of Mine, Lighthouse. There's all of Tohu's catalog.
Yeah.
There's everything that was on Purple Scepter is now on Hold That Weight.
Yeah.
As well.
And you got Clark Zenji.
Daniel 9 was actually on Hold That Weight from the jump before it was even Hold That Weight.
Comic Mischief is on.
Comic Mischief.
Yeah.
Mating Call, obviously. A Kixa. Every alias that like Anten.
Yeah, Anaya's.
All of Anaya's music is on there.
Nice.
And she's got like right now currently running 2 aliases.
But Anten and what's the
Diametric or something. I can't remember.
That's
exactly.
like the remix stuff, right?
She does a lot of different stuff there, but I don't know. She moves around a lot.
Yeah.
She comes up with new ideas and decides to do it under an alias because it's easier to promote. When you're doing that many different genres, it's easier to promote as one entity than doing it as multiple. Mm-hmm. So it's more than 15 artists. There's a couple multiples like you with Lighthouse, me with Mating Call. But yeah, more than 15. And so yeah, like instead of teaching everybody how to do this, I was like, just let me do it. Just let me do it for you. And it just kind of exploded into this thing where now like I'm organizing a festival with the help of you.
Yeah,
I'm organizing
Consider It Held.
Consider It Held. Yeah. For everybody that's on the label to come out and perform and do just a show, and everybody make money from it. And it all like I'm attempting at least to not take very.
You just got to make your money
very
back.
little. Yeah, just like whatever I put into it, I want to make that back, and that's it.
Speaking of that's that gig, that festival.
Yeah.
Are there any shows that you're playing in any of your projects upcoming?
Well, Mating Call has a show later in March somewhere at the Moose Lodge in Decatur.
Nice.
We do a lot of stuff in Decatur. The Moose Lodge actually, weirdly enough, calling it a Moose Lodge is a little, that's obviously what it is during the week, but during the weekends it really becomes like a big venue and a lot of people show out.
I might try to come out to that. I haven't been there.
It's pretty cool. It's not bad. The people in Haslin one organize it.
Nice.
Haslin one.
Any other gigs?
We've been asked to do a couple other things. Like we're doing a show with Lighthouse and Ken Mujo.
Oh yeah. Y'all got to come. Anybody that's listening in Gadsden, you got to come to that show. Ken Mujo is awesome.
Yeah. What day
you saw
is
them
that?
last time? I think it's April 19th, a Sunday.
Yeah, I saw them last time. I played. Do you remember he was handing out drums to people?
Oh yeah.
And shit.
Yeah, you did a solo set.
Yeah. I actually played that. Yeah. I don't have any solo shows coming up right now. Mating Call also has kind of died down doing shows recently. We're working on an album, and then in the meantime, I'm also working on my own album. But I've had very stressful 2 years, so it's been hard for me to finish a lot of the stuff. And I've also changed ideas a lot.
Oh, we should mention that the Rain Swann project, your solo music, released an EP last year or the year before.
I believe it was the year before.
And what was that called again?
It's called 333 plus 888 the night after.
Yeah, I'll make sure to link that here. There's some great songs on that.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily proud of a lot of that stuff. I do think the beats are really good. I do think my writing was a little off in my performance. I kind of sound. My buddy EMR, who is also on Hold That Weight, said that I sounded like a pirate on some of them, and he likes it. So he means it as a compliment. I'm kind of doing this like thing.
Oh no, it all works. It's a solid EP to finish.
It's not necessarily my thing, but I said at the EP release show, I was like, it's my time to give these songs to other people. It's my time I've had.
Because you were sitting on them for a while,
a long time.
Like you already at the time had stuff for your first album, which isn't out yet. So.
No, well, my first album, which got canceled and reworked into now what was going to. It's interesting. 333 plus 888 was going to be the first album, and it was going to be like 17 songs or something.
Wow.
And I had them all done basically, and then there was going to be 444 plus 777 the night before, and it was like conceptual. Everything went together, and there was going to be a third one, and then there was going to be companion albums that went with each. So there was 5 in total, and then I kind of scrapped that idea, took the best songs, made an EP, and then I had another album that was going to be called Watch With Your Eyes Closed, which might be nobody steal it, might be a concept I pursue in the future. But I decided, and that was 22 songs in all, and I'm not a fan of that long of albums.
Yeah, it's a tough to get people to listen to all of that.
Yeah,
you know?
But that got scrapped, and now I'm working on something that is still under wraps. I'm not going to talk about it very much.
Generally with albums, like I've been in a few bands that have released full lengths. Like Tohu had 3 full albums and 2 demo albums, and then Lighthouse is a full album. We got a new one coming out soon. I try to like one of the Tohu albums is 6 songs, and it hits the 30-minute mark for an album. But I noticed doing a shorter track list that people listen to all of them.
Oh, yeah.
That's why the Lighthouse album
one with
is
6
songs.
The Tohu album with 6 songs, I think, is the most listened to Tohu album.
Yeah, it was the biggest one. Yeah,
it has one of those songs has 15,000.
Yeah,
listens. I think.
One of them had 40K.
Yeah, 40.
Violence Became Ritual had 40K.
40K is crazy, but yeah, I'm working on an album now. It's gonna be somewhere between 14 and 17 songs. It could be shorter. I'm not really sure yet.
It's good to have a bunch of material, even if you don't release it all, because then you get to put out the best of. You
can pick and choose.
Clark did that for his first Zenshi album that came out last year. That's It's too. Like 15 songs. Yeah.
I had to put that out for him.
Yeah, he had like 20 something made and narrowed it down, and that's crazy.
No hate to him, but that was hell to put out for him.
Oh, because all the samples.
Yeah, it took 5 different. It took 5 different like uploads, and I was still using primarily DistroKid at the time, so DistroKid was giving me hell, and it was like. That was hell. But the album's really good. The album cover's cool.
Yeah.
I think he's doing something awesome. I think not having any features on that first album was good.
Yeah.
Same thing with EMR. Evan, my roommate, he finally. I mean, he's been making music for a long ass time, and he's the one that inspired me to put out music. Because I was making it, but I wasn't putting it out.
And he's put out only a couple songs, right?
Well, no, he put out that album.
Oh, his album's out?
Yeah. It's called In Between.
Let me save that.
Yeah, not to promote someone else on my episode of the pod, but he that's like one of my best friends in the entire world. How do you spell his name? It's -EMR like a minus symbol, which we got to work on that because streaming services don't like the dash.
It's not on YouTube Music.
It is. Streaming services don't like the dash. Just type in EMR, just the letters all caps in between, and it should come up. That's what I'm saying. We got to work on it because they don't like it. Anaya and Kiki, we were talking about it.
Oh, there it is.
Together. Yeah, it's annoying.
But, I gotta save this.
Shoot, what was I saying?
That's a 7-song album too.
Yeah, 7 songs.
The whole thing tonight.
See, and that thing's great. The cover to cover, the thing's good. There's an interlude song. I think it might be called In Between.
Yeah.
And them both not having any features on their first record.
Yeah.
Is really cool.
Does your first record have features on it?
So yes, but I can't. I don't want to talk too much about it.
Okay.
Because I will say there are features, but there's not many. So I will say I can't say with a certainty. EMR Evan will be on it.
And I know you don't want to say too much about it, but from what you've told me before, it's sort of a concept record, right?
Sort of. So like I said, it's a lot of pulled ideas from what was going to be the first album, which is Watch With Your Eyes Closed. Moved. So it's going to be Watch With Your Eyes Closed, and then this elusive second project that I'm not saying the name of, but that was how it was going to be. It was going to be a first project, second project kind of deal. And now I decided to just skip the first project, take the best songs off of it.
Yeah.
Because I started writing some material that just apply, like it's too good not to put out first.
Yeah.
Personally. It's conceptual in a way. It's less conceptual than what it was going to be.
Yeah.
As a first album, but it's more. I want the songs to speak for themselves more than I don't want to do all this corny world building and
that stuff is cool, but it's so hard to do right and it not make you have to adjust your vision.
Yeah, exactly. And I want the song for a first record especially. I want the songs to just say what they say and people take that away from.
Well, from what I've heard of what you have, it's pretty solid.
I'm pretty damn proud of it. I've not made much other than this that
and when will it come out?
So I'm aiming for late this year.
Nice.
But there's some road bumps I got to get over.
Yeah.
But I'm aiming for late this year, if not either in the winter this year or summer next year. It also kind of depends on the finalized like vibe of it, because I go through so much track listing. Like I'll rearrange shit and I'll change songs. I'll go back and I'll remove a verse and put a verse back on. And I sit on a song for 4 years sometimes before I even feel like it's fit for release. And even at that point, I'll listen to it 500 times before I release it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like perfectionist, bad about that kind of stuff. But
it definitely shows in your music that you sat on it and tweaked for a while on the 333 plus 888.
Yeah.
But besides your solo stuff, which you just told me your future goals for that, you're in Mating Call. That's like the main thing you're doing right now. What's the future for that look like? What are the goals there?
Well, right now we're working on an album, like I said, and that kind of conflicts with me working on an album at the same time.
Yeah.
Eventually, not that I would ever want to leave Mating Call, but I do want to like full focus on my material, on my personal material, like at a given point in time, and really hone in on it, and then return to other projects in between. But we're working on an album right now. We're really kind of, because this is a new incarnation, a new lineup of Mating Call. Everything changed for Denver, who is the only remaining member of the old lineup.
He was the founder too.
Yeah.
He wrote most of the songs.
So it's the vibe of it changes here and there. We talk about it every week. What exactly we're gonna do when it comes time to like drop the album and how we're gonna promote it and stuff like that. We're really focusing on less like in person and more like digital, like doing everything on the internet, because that's like not that I'm super into them or anything like that, but Suicide Boys, they at some point said that your hometown, and a lot of artists have said this, but your hometown is usually the last place that really fucks with you.
Yeah. And I know that from being on tour with Tohu. Everywhere we went on tour, people loved it way more than at home.
I know. We had people coming up to us at shows being like, this is the best band I've ever seen locally and shit like that. And then we'd play at home and it was like, it felt like nobody really cared all that much except for like a select few, which Tohu was kind of a weird case though, because it did, like, the hometown did love it for the most part. But,
yeah, especially in the last year or two. But.
Yeah, but Mating Call's done some shows here in town where it feels like a old man yelling at the clouds,
Yeah,
and we go out of
it's
town.
just a tough crowd sometimes, and
it's also Alabama. It's just not really a place for local music like that, and it's so ate up with like just shitty hardcore music all over the place.
I wouldn't call it shitty, but yeah, I mean, in Alabama, generally people are more interested in hardcore and emo. That's the big ones.
Yeah, which we're lucky we are emo, but
but it's a different kind of emo than what
it's like screams,
Yeah.
screamo, and people don't really think about that as much around here. I don't know. I'm not saying that all of the hardcore music out of Alabama is shitty, because some of it I really love, but I do personally hold the belief that you could start a band that didn't do anything other than just repeat hardcore isms, hardcore tropes, and people around here would eat it up like it was fucking Thanksgiving lunch.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's too ate up with stuff like that for you to truly like do something super, especially me coming like from the perspective of like a hip hop artist. It's not easy for me to get a show that's not a mixed bill, and even when it is a mixed bill, people don't care for real. They're not going to stick around for the guy up there rapping.
I feel like it just depends on the time and the people there, but that was the thing with when we started Tohu, when we kind of evolved to what was our real sound. When we were first doing that, everybody was like, "This is weird."
Yeah.
And we played Gadsden enough times in Birmingham enough times that it found its audience, because we played multiple times in a year in the same area, and it found its audience. So that by the end, there was enough people here that cared to have a great show, and I think that will happen the more that you perform out.
Maybe. But I do think I need to expand to like doing stuff in Atlanta.
For sure.
And,
And that kind of, we did that with Tohu. We went and played other places, and then when it kind of perfected it, or, we honed the craft a little more, played other places. So when we came back here, it was better than before.
More practice. That's another thing I will say about my solo music, is the same deal with Mating Call. I'm focused more on doing it on the internet than I am in person, because it doesn't matter even if I started going to Atlanta and playing and stuff like that. It's not like a lot of my stuff isn't just straight in your face regular ass hip hop,
Yeah.
But a lot of it I do get like explorative, and I do weird shit, and I do I'm all over the place. So I can't expect your average everyday just person to come in and fuck with everything I do. Yeah. I have to be able to like find that audience first and then start booking shows around the pre-existing audience. I feel like that's the easiest way for me to do it. Same thing with Mating Call.
Yeah. But I mean, both of your projects you're doing right now are great.
Yeah, and I think they're doing well for themselves. Like my solo music, I think I'm doing all right. You know, I'm really just focused on the music. I feel like if the music speaks for itself, not that I'm going to be some overnight fucking industry plant sensation, but I do think if the music speaks for itself, that's the best thing.
Yeah, it's going to help.
Yeah, I have to care less about what people think about it and what I think about it.
Yeah, for sure.
But at the same time, it is a question. Same thing with Mating Call. It's a question like, how can you expect someone else to like what you make if you don't like it?
Yeah, for sure.
And that's kind of...
You got to love what you do, and that'll show.
It's the conflict with that first EP I put out. I was like, how can I expect people to like it if I don't like it? But they did.
Yeah.
Then, so...
I think you're just being hard on yourself. But
a little bit.
Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, no problem.